Hey there, myself Pavan. I recently built a AWS serverless architecture AI chatbot. It's a fairly simple chatbot using Gemini API as a backend. So we've used the Flash model, specifically 2.5 version. This is for us to uh, have a simple integration and get a hands-on on real-world APIs to see how it responds and uh, get the other services in AWS integrated as well. So let me share my screen to give you an overview on the project. So it's called a serverless AI chatbot. Yeah, the core components in this project involve the Gemini API key, the Flash model. We've used Lambda for the backend logic in order to invoke the Gemini API. So the Lambda is tied up with the API gateway uh, in order to send the HTTP uh, post requests. Our web files like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are stored in the S3 bucket. So this also acts as a static website hosting where we enable these properties in the S3 bucket itself. So to walk you through the high-level architecture diagram of this project, again, the S3 bucket hosts the static website where the user can uh, type in his queries and submit the query for the LLM to respond. So that's where the process starts. When the user hits on the submit button with his query, the request is sent to API gateway via JavaScript using the post method. So once it sends the post request, it waits for the response. So once the API gateway is invoked, it in turn triggers a Lambda function, which calls the Gemini API with the query as the input. So each of these components are a HTTP based post post method wherein it waits for the response. So once the Gemini API responds back with the answer or response, it gives the Lambda function gives it back to API gateway, and sequentially backwards, the API gateway gives the response back to the JavaScript, and the text is rendered in the output as the response to the user's question. So, like going to each of these components. So, the when creating an API gateway, I've created the API as Gemini API, inside which we have one method that is post. This is again integrated with the Lambda function, which we've created in the first place. Again, one more important thing here is that we've enabled the course in order for the successful integration and communication between these services, between the web JavaScript or API gateway. So moving on, we've our Lambda function itself. So basically, this calls the HTML HTTP path of the API with the API key. So I've stored this API key within the environment variables of Lambda. The header type is JSON itself. The the data type of this query is consistent across all of the services, may it be JavaScript or when it comes to API gateway, and it follows the same format in the Lambda as well. So we put our data in a specific format where the Gemini API understands here, and we encode the data and send it across by the request library. Later, we wait for the response, and uh, if there is an error, we have necessary uh, accept and try blocks down. So this will give us the appropriate status of the response along with the HTTP response as well. So once the response is back, we will go back sequential backwards with the same flow, and the user is rendered with the response itself. So to walk you through the chatbot itself, so this is the static website that is hosted on S3. When we commit, we enable this properties in S3 bucket, it will generate this HTTP path, and we will be able to access our uh, chatbot using the API itself. So let me ask one simple question. So it does work. Uh, Prime minus. So you see, it incorrectly gives the answer, even though the president of United States is Trump. It has the answer as Biden because there is a cutoff date for this model, and hence it is not able to give the latest answers. There is a lot of improvement that we are, I mean, planning to put in into this model by implementing RAG pipelines so that we can retrieve the latest information and also have a memory uh, added to this chatbot. Basically, when I refresh this chatbot, it again goes back to the initial phase. It does not have any memory or context of the previous conversation that we had. So that is one more important improvement that we can do. And one slight improvement is that we can store our API keys in the Amazon secret manager instead of environment variable. That will be a little more secure way to do that. Overall, this was the high level overview on this project. Thank you.